All I want to do is sit in my cozy reading nook and read books. Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Nicole and I love making content about books and self-care, cozy hobbies and lifestyle. So today we're actually going to be doing a little reading vlog I've kind of recorded throughout the past couple of weeks. So this vlog is just going to be showing you all lots of book content, some journaling content, and just some fun stuff. First, I wanted to do a little mini book haul with you guys. I've been trying out some book subscription services. So far I have Book of the Month and Aardvark, and I've been using Book of the Month for maybe like 6 months now, and Aardvark for the past 2 months. I think what I like about it is that there's just so many books out there. It can get kind of difficult to narrow down what you want to read. You have like analysis paralysis, so I really like how they curate new books every month and you can just choose from those books, and if you don't like any of those books you can just skip the month. I love hardcovers. If you've been following me for a while, you know how much I love hardcover books, and all of their books are hardcover, or I think you can also get an audiobook as well with Book of the Month. If you're not really sure where to start, I recommend checking out book subscription services. They're just a nice, easy way to kind of ease yourself back into reading. I just started reading more consistently last December actually, and since then I think I've read like 25 books or so. The first book that I got is Disability Visibility by Alice Wong, and I did talk about Alice Wong in my last reading vlog, so I picked up Disability Intimacy. My book club and I are reading Disability Intimacy, and this is a collection of essays on love, care, and desire. So if you're not familiar with Alice Wong, she is an Asian American disabilities rights activist. She's also the founder of the Disability Visibility Project, and I will link that website down below if you would like to learn more about them. She has done some amazing work for advocating for disabilities rights. I work with people with disabilities, and I think one of the areas that doesn't really get talked about as much, and it should be, is intimate relationships. Love and intimacy is such an integral part of our lives that it needs to be talked about more, and I think that perhaps there's this misconception that if you have a specific disability or something, maybe that you don't necessarily, I guess, engage in those acts or like think about it as much, but I don't believe that to be true. I think that everybody wants to feel connected. Everybody has a desire to be loved and to have intimacy. I'm really excited to read this with my book club and learn more about these perspectives as well. I think it'll just be a really helpful way for me to hear about people's different experiences and how to be more open, and also just facilitate the discussion more in my own practice as a clinician. Also, side note, I think that this cover is just so beautiful, and I think it'll look really great on my bookshelf. So I'm just really glad that I picked this one up. This next book is a Book of the Month pick, and it's called The 5 Broken Blades. I really don't know that much about this book. I think I chose this because it's a fantasy, and I've been really liking fantasy lately. This is the first in the series, I believe, and the only thing I know about it is that there are 5 different hired assassins to kill the king. I'm sorry I don't have more information about this book. I was reading the jacket and it doesn't really give a lot of information, so I tried to summarize it as succinctly as possible. I think that this book is going to be a really good fall read. Basically, every single book that has black and red tells me that it's meant to be read in the fall. The next book I chose from Book of the Month is Real Americans. I believe it follows the story of two Asian Americans as they navigate their life here in America. I think one of the protagonists, her parents were actually scientists during Mao's Cultural Revolution in China and then fled to the US for a better life. And I was really interested in that because I really want to know more about what that experience was like. I don't know too much about that time period, but from what I understand, during the Cultural Revolution, I believe ancient Chinese artifacts and art, history, books, they were all being destroyed. And I don't know why this was the case, but I think that's just such a tragic thing to eliminate and destroy these relics of the past that can be used to teach future generations about history that you went through. Imagine that to be a really difficult experience. I've been really gravitating more towards Asian American authors. I feel like I can really resonate with their stories. So I just want to support more Asian American authors, and it is AAPI month as well, Asian American Pacific Islander month. So I think this will be a good book to read for this month. The last book that I want to show you all is The Paris Daughter, which was my Aardvark pick for this month. I also got another book from Aardvark. I think it was The Happy Medium, but I think it's on back order or something, so I haven't actually gotten it yet, but I am really looking forward to getting that, and once I do have it, I'll show you guys what it looks like. I think the cover is super cute. But anyway, getting back into The Paris Daughter. So this is a historical fiction that's set in Paris during World War II, and I'm really drawn to stories about war and World War II specifically. Just thinking about the context, just the horrific things that people had to endure. I really like reading about the resilience, and even during times of just unspeakable tragedy, how people can still find hope and faith to move forward. I chose this book for this reason. I believe this follows the story of a mother and a daughter who end up separated during the war. The mother entrusts her daughter's safety to a friend. A year later or so, she returns, but her daughter is missing. So the rest of the novel will be about her looking for her daughter. This is probably going to be another heart-wrenching read. I really love Kristin Hannah, and this book, the premise, kind of reminded me of the themes and the topics that Kristin Hannah writes about, but I wanted to read more authors. So this is written by Kristin Harmel. I don't know if that's like a coincidence or something that I chose this book, but I'm excited to read this one.
어린아이 장난 같아
It has been so cold and gloomy lately, even though it's almost June, but I guess that's pretty typical for the Pacific Northwest. And even though I am a California girl at heart, I've been trying to work with this weather, so all I want to do is sit in my cozy reading nook and read books. So I wanted to show you all a couple of books that I got from the library that's going to be on, I guess, June's TBR. And if you watch my library haul, then you know that I've been trying to challenge myself by reading more books from the library so that I'm not overspending on books. And I'm really happy with the books that I got. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about what these books are about, but if you like it when I go more in depth about the books that are on my TBR or books that I've picked up, let me know when I can do that more in future videos. But for today, we're just going to be super casual. And the first book that I got is Bunny. And I've heard a lot of great things about this book and this author. I don't know too much about this book other than I think it might be like a dark academia theme. I believe it's set in some college campus. Forward to reading this one. It doesn't look like it's too long either, so this will probably be a really nice lighter read. The next book I picked up is Annie Bot, and I've been really wanting to pick this book up. This book is actually science fiction. From what I understand, it's a book about different types of AI, and I believe it follows a story of a robot who is somebody's physical companion, if you know what I mean. And I really love the cover. I think it's so beautiful, but I'm kind of tempted to buy it, but I think I'm gonna read it first and then see how I feel. If I absolutely love it, I might just have to pick it up. The next book I picked up is The Ministry of Time, and this is another science fiction. I believe there's also some romance elements weaved into here, and I think there's some sort of like time traveling elements happening too, so that sounded pretty cool. Looking forward to reading this one this month as well. The next book I picked up is You Know What You Did by KT Nguyen, and I believe this is sort of like a mystery or a psychological thriller. Not too sure what the exact details are, but I picked this book up because I really want to read more stories by Asian American authors, especially since it's AAPI month, so I went ahead and picked this one up from the library. This book is a fantasy, and this is A Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle Jensen, and I believe this was a book of the month pick a couple of months ago, but I didn't end up picking it up. However, I decided to borrow it from the library, and I wanted to show you guys this like metallic binding on here. I just think it's so pretty. I believe that this is a romantasy, which I don't think I have a lot of experience with romantasy, so I'm looking forward to reading this one. I mean, just looking at the cover, there's a little bit of a glare, but she kind of reminds me of Daenerys Targaryen. I love stories about fierce heroines, so I'm hoping that I'll like this book. I've been reading a lot of fantasy lately, so I'm really hoping that I'll like this one. The last book that I picked up from the library is another Abby Jimenez book. This is Part of Your World, and I read Yours Truly last month, I believe, and I think I gave that one 4 stars. I really liked it. I don't typically read standalone romance, but there's something about the spring and the summer that I feel like just kind of perfect for this genre, which is why I picked it up. This is the last one that I picked up from the library, but I wanted to do one more thing before I wrap up this reading blog, and I wanted to show you guys the book that I'll be buddy reading with my friend Michelle over at Good Morning Dreamer here on YouTube. This is my very first buddy read, and I'll put her link in the description box down below so you can check out her channel. But we are reading Dragon Fruit, and I did talk about this book in one of my reading vlogs, so I'll put that up in one of the corners so you can check it out if you haven't already. But basically, this is a YA fantasy, and it follows the story of a young girl named Hannah Leigh who was exiled from her home, where she spends much of her day studying the sea dragons, and she'll later go back home to help save her kingdom. That's pretty much all I know about this story. I'm really looking forward to reading this book with my friend, so I think what I'll do is actually just start reading some of it with you guys so I can share some of my first impressions and let you guys know what I think. Before I start reading, I want to show you guys the book stand that I've been using because I love hardcover books, but they're kind of uncomfortable to hold. Using this book stand has been really helpful because I can basically just rest my hands while I'm reading so that I don't get any sort of like flare-ups in my hands. If you've been following me for a while, then you know that I'm dealing with this like hand injury, so this has been a real lifesaver for me. And this book came with a free bookmark from Book of the Month. I love the little quotes that they put on the back because I think they're super clever. So this one is, "Let's get to the bottom of this," and I thought that was just really cute, so I'm going to be using this bookmark for this book, and let's get started. I just finished reading the first chapter, and so far not too much has happened since it's only the first chapter, but I wanted to stop there just to give you all some of my first impressions, and so far it's super easy to follow. So we meet Hannah Leigh, who's already in exile, and the author is doing a really great job of building the world. So we learn more about the islands as well as the dragon lore, and we learn that these dragons are not only beautiful, but they're also pretty dangerous as well. However, the author introduces a group of people in the first chapter, which I believe are supposed to be sort of like like the villains. I would say so far it's kind of building up to like there's one side of the people who hope to preserve dragons and then another group who has different ideas. I haven't really read far enough to really have a solidified opinion, but so far I thought the first chapter was really entertaining and really pulled me in, so I'm really looking forward to reading the rest of this book with my friend. I think I'm gonna end this reading vlog right here. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked today's video, then please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more from me. If you're not sure what to comment, then let me know a book that you're currently reading because I would really love to know. And as always, take care of yourself because you deserve it, and I'll see you in my next video.